What's going on, ski team athletes? Mark Dyer here. Today we're going to go over home program number 3. So home program number 3, just like the previous programs, has 3 days on it. We're switching up a little bit. Day 1 is now going to be our strength day, where we're doing a lot of single leg work, a lot of loaded movement in day number 1. And then day number 2 is going to be our body weight endurance day. And then we have sprinting and conditioning to wrap it up for day number 3. And day number 3 is going to be a separate warm-up and separate video. So this video is just going to cover day 1 and day 2 of the movements. So let's go ahead and jump into the day 1 warm-up. And again, be sure to check DRIVN for the program outline and program details of home program number 3. Let's get into it. For day number 1, the first exercise set, we're going to need a few items. So of course, from our previous programs, we have our backpack that we can load up with all kinds of weight to challenge these movements. Now we're going to take another household item, a chair here, and really kind of intensify and get creative with our movements. So again, we're going to do a front load step up. So we're going to load the backpack. You can load it on however you want. I like challenging it by loading it in the front. It really helps you to brace that core. So you're going to start with the backpack on the front, nice and loaded with weight. Then you're going to step onto the chair. Think about driving that foot into the chair to pull that trailing leg onto the chair. And then you're going to step down with that same leg you went up with. And then you're just going to alternate. Now the right foot goes up, drives your trailing leg to the top, and we're going back down. All right? So loaded front step ups. Right? Really focusing on driving that foot into the chair to pull yourself up and not using that trail leg to push off of. You're using this top leg, driving it in, stabilizing that body. For the second movement of set number 1, you're going to go now into a foot elevated push-up. So with that same chair, feet are going to go up top, and now we've just challenged that push-up and added a little bit of weight to it. Right, so increasing that push-up, challenging it a little bit further. Now we're going to move on to the second set of movements. For the second set of exercises in day number 1, we're going to need the chair, and we're going to need our third item for this program, which is the towel. So the first movement that we're going to do requires the towel. It's going to be a lower body hinge, and we're going to almost pull like you would a deadlift, but now we just have this towel, so it's an isometric hold. So what I like to do is I like to roll up the towel so you can grab it on both ends, and you're simply just going to step onto the towel to hold it down. Now from here, this looks a lot like our deadlift or our hinge position. So what we're gonna do is press our feet into the towel as we pull up and hold that for 10 seconds. Pushing the ground and towel as hard as we can away, and then let go. Rest for 5 seconds, pull again, tight for 10 seconds, and back down. Once we're done with the towel hinge pulls, we're then going to move to a plank walk. So you're going to have the feet on the top of the chair again, and now what we're going to do is walk into this pike position and walk back out into tall plank. Into pike, raising the hips up, and then down to tall plank. All right, so each one back up tall to a pike is 1 rep. Then we're going to move on to our third set of exercises. So the third and final set of exercises on day number 1, we're just going to need the chair and the backpack. And again, with this backpack, the first one that we're going to do is the front-loaded chair touchdown. So again, this is working on our single leg squat position, and we have plenty of videos going over that. All right, so we're going to step on top of the chair, nice and balanced position. And what we're going to do is work on that single leg touchdown with some front load. So again, load up the backpack to a comfortable weight. Now we're going to work on that single leg squat. So again, I'm standing up tall, really tall upper body position. Our trailing leg hangs down, and we're going to hinge at the hips. Keep the knee nice and stable by driving the big toe into the chair, touch down, and back up. Right? Nice, slow, and controlled. We don't want to get a bounce on this one. We want to have control all the way down and all the way up on that movement. And then we're going to go into the second movement, which is a squat upright row. So with the loaded backpack, we're going to grab it by the top handle right here. Now I'm going to get into a wider squat stance, so my feet are going to be wider than my hips. Again, same upper body mechanics, we stay tall. We never want to be down and shoulders shrugged. Always have the shoulders tucked down and back. Really strong, tall upper body position. Now from here, we're going to squat all the way down. As we come up, we're going to lift the backpack, elbows flare out, and we bring the backpack to our collarbone, back down, and squat. All right, working on our upright row. And I'm thinking about flaring the elbows out and shoulders back, right? We don't want to have the shoulders go out or elbows go out. We're keeping everything really tight to the body to work on that form and posture for our Olympic lifts. All right, so that is the front-loaded upright row. And then we move on to our core work for day number 1. For our core on day number 1, we're going to start with some lower body rotation and core bracing. So what we're going to do is really focus on that hollow body position. So I'm going to put my hands out to the side to really just stabilize the hips and make sure the hips don't rock too much. Now we're going to go into that hollow body position, bracing the core and locking that lower back into the ground. Now from here, I'm just going to drop the heel to the ground, rotate to the other side. All right, so lower leg taps. So we're getting that rotation of the lower body right all the way. Once we're done with all the reps on that, we're going to come to a standing position. We're going to go grab that loaded backpack from all of our other exercises. Now what we're going to work on is a standing oblique crunch. So after the lower body taps, we're back in standing position. I got the backpack by the top handle here. Now what I'm going to do is in really good alignment, think about your shoulder and your hips staying in alignment. You're going to think about bringing your ribs to your hips in the standing oblique crunch, right? So it's a really small movement, but we're making sure that our shoulder and hip stay in alignment and that we're really targeting that pinch area of the obliques, right? And this is one where the loaded backpack, you can get a lot of work done with this one. Lateral flexion of the spine is key for core work. So that's where that standing oblique crunch comes in. And again, start with a lighter weight and then load it up. We always want to make sure we go light to heavy with any load on the spine and any bending in the spine. So start with a low weight and then increase the weight to a challenging weight for that standing oblique crunch. That is all the movements for day number 1. Let's go down to day number 2. Day number 2 is our body weight endurance day, and we're going to focus a lot on just leg and core work for for this day. So for the first set of exercises on day number 2, we start with a single leg pulse. So we're going to be balanced on our single leg, and we're going to take that trailing leg back in our single leg pulse. So we're going to find the middle range of motion. Now I'm not at the bottom, I'm not at the top, I'm going to be in the middle, and we're going to be pulsing, so up and down pulse in that range of motion in the middle, right? So you're going to do about a minute each leg. Again, start with 30, 45 seconds, whatever you're comfortable with, and work your way up each week. So again, whatever amount of time on the right, and switch to the left with that other leg driving back to keep you balanced. After the single leg pulses, then we go into the V-sit pulse. So again, this is a core work. I like to have my hands in front. You're going to kick out and back in, and just pulse in that mid-range. So V-sit pulses, right? And you're going to do those for one movement. Then we move on to the second set of exercises for day 2. For the second set of exercises, we're going back to the pulse, but now we're going in a bilateral squat stance, so both feet on the ground. And we're going to go into a wide squat first. So we're going to do 5 wide squat pulses to a tall tap. Show you what that means. So we're going to get low into that wide squat. You're going to pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up tall. So you're tapping up tall every 5 seconds, and you're doing that for a minute. The next one, again, is a core bracing, but it hits some of the upper body too. We're going to go into plank up downs. So you're going to start in tall plank position, then you're going to drop onto the elbows, and then back up into tall plank position. Now what we're looking for on this is to keep the shoulders and hips in good alignment with the ground. What can tend to happen is people rock their shoulders. We don't want to do that. We want to keep everything tight and in line, and keep those shoulders and hips squares to the ground. Another thing I like to do is alternate each hand I drop down with. So each time I pop up, I'm dropping with the right, come back to the top, drop with the left. That way each of the shoulders is getting an equal amount of work. Now we're going to move on to our third set of exercises for day 2. For our third set of exercises on day 2, we're going to start with a little bit of a plyometric and crossover lunge. So this is a crossover touchdown is what this is called. So we start in a tall position. The first movement is going to be a lateral push to the opposite side. So you're going to cut across. And now we're going to take the trailing leg behind us as we reach and touch the ground with our opposite hand. All right, I'll do a couple of motion so you can see what I'm talking about. Again, we keep the upper body tall as we're crossing over. So we're in a really strong athletic position, and our shoulders and upper body isn't breaking down, right? So crossover touchdowns, then we go to our final core movement, which is a hollow body rocker. So back into that hollow body position, shoulders are rounded, and we're just gonna rock from the tailbone to the shoulder blade for 45 seconds to a minute. And that is going to end the circuit for day number 2. Be sure to check out our sprinting and conditioning day for home program number 3.